So I wrote 1980. You don't know this. I wrote 1982 a long time ago, maybe when I was 17, but I wrote it as a completely different song. I actually knew someone who was born in, this is unrelated to what the song is about, but it was related to what the original song was about. I knew someone who was born in 1982 and died in 2013. And I drew a parallel between my sister's death. She died in 1982, and this person who was born in 1982 and died tragically later. And I wrote this really kind of sonnet of a song. It was very short and compact and vaguely poetic. And it was something that I put away in a folder and thought I will bring this out sometime. I tried to write it a couple times later with more focus on my sister and less focus on this man. Not that he's not important, but that I knew I wanted to write a song about her. And I tried to write it many times and never came up with anything that I particularly liked. Then you sent me late last year.
It was called Walk the Pilots.
That's
because
right.
One night I just had a random melody in my head. It was na 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 na. That's exactly what it sounds like.
Sample that.
Yeah, I will.
So that's the roots of it. Well, so it evolved quite a bit from Walk the Pilots.
Yeah.
Walk the Pilots was much more fun.
Yeah.
Well, we changed it a bit. We changed it to be more, I don't know how I would describe it. In my head, it sounds like a color. Like I imagine it as blues and purples, and before I imagined it much more as a darker purple and a bright yellow. I don't know if that makes any sense, but...
I can see the blue and purple during the verses. During chorus, feels more yellow to me.
I could see that, like a pastel yellow for me.
It's like yellow, but with like I don't know.
This is the trippiest.
With like a dash of white, just stripes of white.
Oh, I could totally see that. Yeah. This song for me is about my sister. Well, it started with my sister. But it's more about my mom and maybe myself more than anything. And it's about this desire to live the best life I can, especially for my mother, because my mother doesn't have all her children. And I don't feel guilt necessarily. I feel more, I don't know, required to do these things. I guess that's what guilt is. Responsibility is perfect, yeah. I have a responsibility to my sister to keep my mom safe and happy, or as happy as she can be.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. The song, I particularly love this song because it's a similar story to my mother and like how she lost her child. Also in this case, a brother that I never met. And it definitely didn't affect our lives in the same way, but it does have this same, you can feel the sibling that's missing, kind of. Like, it changes your mother in different ways, but it changes her.
For me, something that my mom told me this months after we wrote the song, but we were driving one day, and I don't know how it came up. Maybe I asked her when she started to feel okay again after my sister's death, and she told me that she didn't feel like herself again until she was pregnant with me 13 years later.
That's
significant. I know. So it's a strange feeling to, I guess, in a way, have saved someone, air quotes, saved someone. It's a strange feeling to have done that to someone before you could do anything.